All right. We back again. Before we get started, this episode is brought to you by Bad Publicity. Shout out Ashley. Bad Publicity. Fly gear.
Yeah.
No publicity is good publicity. No publicity is bad publicity.
No publicity is bad publicity.
All publicity is
All
good publicity.
publicity is good publicity.
Right? Bad publicity, you got lip gloss, you got
Glasses.
bathing suits, glasses.
Ladies apparel, but she even do a lot for the fellas.
She does some stuff
bad
for the
publicity
fellas,
does
too.
some stuff for the
She
fellas.
got some fly gear, man. Check her out.
Palettes.
Yeah,
she got some
I heard
dope.
she got the best lip gloss around. Lip gloss is popping.
Okay.
But yeah, check out badpublicity.com. Tap in with her. She on Snap, Instagram, all those spots. Bad Publicity, and pretty entertaining too. You know, if you on social media, some entertaining stuff going down on Bad Publicity. Check him out. Shout out Bad Publicity. Today we got a very special guest with us. You see him, the red polo.
Hey.
You know what I'm saying? Shining on him, Mr. Sam GSK.
The man, not the myth.
The man, not the myth. You know, a man of many titles. Entrepreneur, investor, real estate guru, mentor, one of our mentors. You know, we talked about him quite a bit on the show. A legend.
Yeah.
A legend, a walking legend, man. And, you know, we had to bring you on, man. So appreciate you coming through, bro.
Thank you very much.
Round of applause, man.
It's crazy because you never introduce yourself or me, man. Like, this guy just starts the show and he don't never tell the people who we are.
Yeah. I mean, well, we talk about this all the time. We always argue. But if you're watching, you should probably know. But you could have just came across us. But, you know, myself, Novell Provo, one of the co-founders and entrepreneur of R&B Kitchen, Smooth Meal Prep, and wherever else I get my hands dirty in. But that's me.
I'm Cravell Beals. A lot of people call me Velly, CB Velly on socials, Snap, and Instagram. Reason why I say is because, you know, every week I get a new follow.
Okay.
You know what
okay.
I mean?
That's dope.
Right?
That's dope.
So, like, every week
growing.
after on Monday, like, I'll get, like, 2 new follows or
check you
some
out.
shit like that, right? So I just like to keep them coming.
Yeah, follow me up too, man.
You know what I
At
mean?
Vel Smooth on Instagram. I'm on Twitter these days too, at NS_Provo, and doing that up for sure.
Yeah, man.
So
Definitely.
we here with my boy Sam. We want to get right to it. We're gonna talk about a lot of stuff today. Get to know you a bit, hear a bit about your story, and you know, just really share with the people who you are and what you do, because I think you got a lot of value. Again, we made a lot of money from you.
Yeah.
You know, we'll have a meeting with Sam every once in a while. He'll bring a new idea like crypto or NFT, whatever the hell it is, and we'll go back and buy some shit, and we'll talk about that.
Yeah, I'd
as well.
probably say, like, you know, to my personal finance, Sam, probably about 80% of my ups has been inspired by Sam.
If we put a dollar amount on it, I'm willing to say overwards of 500.
Yeah, I probably made about 500 off
When
of
I
Sam,
say
please.
stocks, crypto,
Yeah.
Shopify, and Tesla, that's my first 10Xs. Those both came from Sam.
Shopify, wow.
Shopify, man. Bitcoin, crypto, early days when we done 20 and 30Xs. Sam, Hex, Sam, Solana, Ham, Sam.
Sam and
Sam.
Yeah.
The list goes on, man. But we're going to get into all of that. It's just, you know, we're excited to have Sam here. So, you know, my first question, we want to, you know, tap into your youth days. So you're originally from Uganda.
Yep.
Were you born there?
No, I'm born here, so I was first generation Canadian.
Hey.
That's what's
Right?
up.
So my mom and my dad, they came in 85,
Okay.
and I was born shortly after 86.
Shortly after that. You were born
Right,
in 88.
Yeah, I was born in 88, bro.
Oh, Sam older than you.
Yeah, that's my
Okay.
big homie, man.
Big homie Sam. That's
Yeah.
what's up.
Me and P. Kane actually had that conversation a couple
Yeah.
weeks ago.
Mm.
He was betting me down that, like, Sam is his age. I'm like, nah, bro.
Yeah.
Sam older than
Sam's
us,
old,
bro.
dude. That's
Yeah.
what's up, man.
Yeah, so grew up in St. Mary's Residence.
Okay. Okay.
Loyola.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
We're gonna get into that for sure,
Yeah.
because you a SMU guy like me.
Yeah.
You said you grew up in St. Mary's
Yeah.
Residence? So,
Oh,
like,
I
baby,
ain't-
Like when I was a baby, that's where I lived.
okay,
Oh,
like
shit.
your parents. That's
Yeah.
why you're
I
so
thought
smart. You grew up in
He grew up in
university.
the university. He was born in university. So tell us a bit about that. So your parents came here in 80, what you said?
85.
85, and your mom's going to school.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
So Dal didn't have co-ed housing.
Okay.
So my mom was going to SMU. My dad was going to Dal.
Nice.
Doing his PhD, and my mom was doing her bachelor in, I believe, secretarial arts is what they called it back in the day.
Okay.
Okay.
And then, so we lived in St. Mary's, grew up in the hallways of Loyola. I remember, seeing all the parties. On Friday, they'd have the football parties, right? So you could see the field from where we lived. And then when I turned, I think grade 1.
Okay.
So grade 1, we moved
Moved out.
So you were in the dorm.
That's
up until
I
grade
never ever
one?
heard that before. Ever any story.
So
Gangster.
That's it.
from 0 to 5, lived in the dorm.
Lived in the dorms.
Damn.
Played in the hallways of
Jeez.
SMU.
Seen all the kids and
Yeah.
seen
There
the
were the
parties.
only there weren't kids.
Oh, not
So it
kids.
was a
Sorry.
lot of-
all the students.
There was a
Yeah.
lot of fucking going on.
Hey man, come
While
on,
you
man.
in the hallway, bro.
I remember I had one of those tricycles,
Mm-hmm.
and the security took my tricycle, and they put it in like a storage locker.
Damn security,
right?
man.
And
Yeah.
my mom came, yelled at them, got it back.
Sick.
Right. So,
What's up, man?
but
I wonder how many other people
That's what I said. I never ever heard
like
that
grew
story
up
before.
You know, like had babies and kids, and they dorm in the dorm. That's big.
That's
Yeah.
unique.
It's
So they
different,
met. They met in college, or they met? Are they both from Uganda?
Yeah,
or-
they met in Uganda.
Okay,
And then
Uganda, not Uganda.
Yeah.
Uganda.
They met in Uganda,
Mm-hmm.
got married, and then my dad, his coworker, was actually from Halifax.
Okay.
So when he decided to leave, it was pretty bad back then.
Mm.
So when he decided to leave and come back, my dad was like, "We should go with you."
Okay.
Right?
Makes sense.
So that's how we ended up
Made
in
that
Halifax, Nova Scotia.
Halifax, Nova Scotia.
Right.
Crazy. I never knew that.
St.
story,
Mary's
man.
Sam.
St. Mary's Sam.
You went to
literally.
St. Mary's? You went
Yeah.
to SMU?
Shit,
So it just
man.
brought it home full circle. They
SMU
should have given you a discount, bro.
And they should SMU, man. Holla at my boy Sam. That needs to be like a special or something. Like
Yeah.
a video. He grew up here.
Yeah.
There's a lot you can do with that.
Yeah.
And now look at him. That's
Yeah.
what's up.
Yeah.
So as a youth, grade 1 and throughout your days, how were you as a kid, like in school and all that stuff? What kind of kid were you?
Top grades.
Okay.
Top grades. That was
Figured.
like that's part of the African culture though, right?
Mhm.
So like if you're not a doctor, or a lawyer, like that's what every parent wants their kids to be.
Mhm.
Now I didn't end up being a doctor or a lawyer, but I think it's just the pressure
Yeah.
of that. It's going to produce something good, right? So
Yeah.
my sister just graduated. Actually, she just finished law school
Nice.
this year, right?
Congrats.
So,
That's what's up.
but yeah, I played a lot of sports.
Yeah.
So parents tried to keep me busy. So played basketball, played soccer, played baseball, played competitive soccer, like tier 1.
Mhm.
Nice.
So started off with Forest Hills. Then I played for Scotia Olympics. Basketball wasn't that good. Like I was like B team basketball in high school,
Mhm.
but just
Enjoyed
staying busy, right?
Mm.
I was in band. I just did everything,
Mm.
right? Math camp, science camp. So you're gonna stay out of trouble if you're just always
Just always
in these
doing something.
extracurricular
And you learn,
activities, right?
you always
Yeah.
learn. Like,
Yeah.
you get a lot of experience. One of the things I always appreciate about you is like, I'll talk to you about something so like specific. Like
Mhm.
you'll have like some knowledge about some stuff. Like, where did this guy learn
Know
this?
that-
at?
that
Like, how
fact.
do you know that? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? How are you so tapped into like all these different things? But it makes sense. You played a lot of sports.
Well-balanced.
You were in math camp. You were doing a lot of different shit. You come from Africa. You grew up in the dorm. So like
Mhm.
you had a lot. There's a lot of
Yeah.
curtains that I ain't get to peel back. I ain't know that about
had
you,
to
man.
adapt, and
Yeah.
you said it as well. One of the things that I always know is he's always learning something. So right now, I talked to you maybe a week ago, and you're taking a deep dive into NFTs, and we'll
Yeah.
talk about that. But he's always taking a deep dive into something, and he does his research.
Yeah.
Right. When he goes into a research phase, it's a deep phase, and he comes out with information and he attacks it. So that makes sense where that comes from. We always like to hear about entrepreneurs in your family, and I believe your parents are entrepreneurs. Well, they're in the
Yeah.
real estate.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about them and their entrepreneurial journey, and how that kind of you think influenced you at a young age.
Big time, because there was a lot of businesses our family had. So I remember, I think my brother must have been 3 and I was like 7.
Okay.
And we had just moved into a home in Sackville. The parents just bought a house, and they wanted to start a business selling T-shirts.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so it was they were screen printing business. So they drove to Boston, and they went and got a screen printer from Boston, and we drove with the screen printer like all over our bodies, right? Because it's in the back seat of the car.
Okay.
It's like spread out to the front seat.
Wow.
So we had one of those 4 turnstile with the squeegee,
Okay.
right? That was
yeah,
on the
yeah,
basement.
yeah.
So I would be at one station, my brother would be at one station, my dad and my mom would be at a station, right? So we'd be one person would squeegee, you move it, then you dry the T-shirt. So that was one of the businesses. So the BEA would have a golf tournament every year.
Yeah.
They do the T-shirts for that.
Nice.
We still have prints, I think, of all of the old designs. I think you would like them.
Nice.
And different schools, different charities. That's what they would do. So we're just doing bulk T-shirts. I think it was like Fruit of the Loom.
Okay.
Was popping back then.
Yeah.
Right. So did that when my sister, so on my 10th birthday, my sister was born.
Mm-hmm.
And my parents were like, we shouldn't.
The same day. You guys got the same birthday?
We have the same birthday.
Shit, man. That's what's up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Same birthday.
Yeah. So on my 10th birthday, my sister was born. I was
Yeah.
thinking like when I was 10.
Yeah.
On my 10th birthday. You said that
Yeah.
so nonchalantly.
Yeah, exactly.
It's rare.
Yeah.
It's normal to me.
Yeah.
for sure.
Nice.
So my parents were like, we shouldn't have the fumes around a baby.
Yeah.
So they sold the business.
Responsible parenting.
Yeah.
Responsible
But me and my
parenting.
brother were like, what about us?
Yeah.
But no, it was,
We've been enjoying this.
We were down here working in the fumes. We were working.
I never even thought when you
we were
meant by
working
that,
in
but
the
like,
fumes.
all right, you got
but
daughter.
no, it was good though. But they sold that business, and then they moved on to other things. So
Okay.
just learning that. So you learn how to source a product. You learn how to you learn how to design. You learn how to use the dark room. We had a dark room to develop the own screens because there was a screen printing company in Halifax that was charging too much. So we bought the machine so that we could, just do our own prints.
Right.
So you're learning all of these things, which like a lot of companies do. In business is what they start buying other companies that they're spending too much money
Yep.
on.
Yep.
Right. So we were doing things like that, and like really young, just always with my parents doing those things. Late nights when you have a deadline, you got to print 500 shirts. And you don't have much time. It's like you're staying up all night doing that.
Yep.
So I think I learned the work ethic from that.
Did you get any days off
Right.
from school? You still had to go to school.
Still had to go to school.
So you up 3 a.m. printing the shirts, back up at 8
there's
a.m.
no
for
days-
class.
No days off, right? And you got to get 90s minimum, right?
Mhm.
90s minimum. So
90s
then
minimum, real
After
life.
that, so after they sold that business, I believe they went into importing. It was early though.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
importing goods from China
Sick.
and trying to sell them at the flea market.
Sick.
So it didn't really pop.
What kind of goods were they doing?
Toronto Maple Leafs bumper stickers, little, small hockey sticks, things like that. But really, you're not going to sell $1 million worth of stuff at a flea market.
Yeah,
in Sackville,
Yeah.
right? So
Tough one.
you learn, right? So I think I have an eye for businesses. Like I can look at a business and say that business is going to do really well, or that business is not going to do really well, just by learning the market. You have to know what your market is. You have to know how much demand there is.
Yeah.
And so I can see that. Like I remember in Halifax, they had about 10 frozen yogurt places in Halifax.
Yeah.
But I mean, Canada's mostly cold.
Yeah,
Who's going to
exactly.
be getting frozen yogurt in the
Right,
winter? and
right.
stuff,
When
right?
middle of
So
December.
they're all gone now. So it's like one of those things that I have an eye for that,
Right.
which helps in investing.
100%. 100%.
Next thing we had paper route.
Yep.
So me and my
when
dad.
I was gonna say. So
Yeah.
when you say we, you mean like
It was me and my dad.
okay.
So-
How old were you then?
12.
Okay.
So I'm waking up early because you wake up at like 4.
Right.
Right, and we're delivering the papers. We're in Bedford. We deliver the papers for Bedford and Clayton Park,
Sick.
right? And it's just hard work.
Big route.
right? Just
Yeah,
hard
I
work.
did the paper route as
Right.
well with my mom did it. Mom did it for
She
a
had
bit
to, yeah.
in Terra,
Yeah.
but that shit is hard.
Yeah,
But you
never end,
you
yeah.
understand the value of working and money and all that at that age with that.
Yeah.
So
it's all experience that
Yeah.
adds up
Yeah.
over time. After that, I believe then no businesses for a while, just like little side things here and there. My parents got a lot into nonprofits, so we started a nonprofit for Afrocentric children.
Yep.
So I was in that, learning how to do African drumming. Just little activities, arts, crafts. We did that for a long time, and then eventually they got into real estate. So when they sold the house in Sackville, the price had probably doubled.
That house you
was like
guys
the,
bought
Yeah,
after you left the dorm.
yeah,
Yeah,
So
yeah,
went
yeah.
right from the dorm into a house.
In the house. Price doubled.
Right, 10 years, price doubled, and then it was like the light bulb moment. Like you can make more money owning a house than you can working.
Right. Right.
Right.
And you realize as well, it's not all this hard work we've been putting in, printing T-shirts
Yeah,
and
paper
we
routes.
just lived in this house. We owned it, and then we sold
And
it.
it was more than all of the other businesses
Combined. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So it's like, okay. So then my parents bought some rental properties. So now me and my brother were doing the labor. So we would do demo, right? Take all the floors out, take all the kitchens out.
Wow, you still love doing that stuff today.
Yeah.
Yeah, you always see that on Instagram.
That's how I learned.
Demoing stuff up. Yeah.
That's how I learned, right? So doing demo, taking kitchens out, installing new kitchens. We did everything except for the electrical and plumbing.
Okay, sick.
And everything. There was no YouTube. So you're just sitting there like thinking.
Trying to figure it out. Like looking at this like, okay, how do we pull this floor up?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Calling family, friends that knew little things here and there, and they'd come help out for a while, right? But that's how we learned, real estate. And then when I started working, so now that I'm at the working age, say at like 15, 16, my first job was at Dairy Queen in Bedford.
Nice.
So I was at the Dairy Queen in Bedford. I used to clean the balls in the little playpen.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
Like you got to get in there and you got to collect them.
And they still had the playpens back in the day.
Spray them and everything. And I did that for like 3 weeks.
Good to know they were cleaning them balls.
They were once a week.
Okay.
Once a week. That's not bad.
So you pull up Friday. It's not the best.
A lot of drool and stuff going on there. A lot of germs. Not COVID friendly.
Not COVID friendly.
Yeah.
No.
So you're at Dairy Queen.
So I'm at Dairy Queen.
Cleaning
the balls.
This
is like the first like labor lesson, right? So minimum wage is $6 an hour.
Jesus.
Right?
What year is this?
So like I graduated high school 05.
Yeah.
So like 02?
02.
Damn. Right?
Yeah. So all you little homies that's working with us now, you getting 13, 14 an hour.
And it's
minimum wage was $6 an hour.
$6.
Yeah. $6 an hour. Worked there for 3 weeks. The guy tells me, because you're not fully trained, I'm going to pay you $4 an hour. I'm like,
how that work?
I was like, go to my dad.
Yeah.
He's like, that's not legal.
Yeah.
Right?
What part of the game is that?
And I'm still playing soccer at the time. So I remember I'm playing competitive soccer, and we won provincials, and we're going to the national competition in Montreal. So I booked the time off. And this is like one of the reasons why I became an entrepreneur on the side. So I booked the time off, and he denies it. So I'm like, okay, so you're just not going to let me go?
Right.
So I knew all the girls there. They're all from my high school.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, can you take my shift?
Swap
Can
my
you
shifts.
take my shift?
Right.
All my shifts are swapped.
Right.
He's like, you still can't.
Oh, he was just on
So
some
he
bullshit.
was trying to be a dictator.
Yeah.
So I went.
Yeah.
I went to of course I'm going to national.
That's why you only work for 3 weeks.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So then I went with my dad. Apparently he was calling my mom. Like, where's he at? He's not at his shifts. Right? And they're like, what do you mean? Like he's on the Nova Scotia team. Like he's going to go play.
He's not coming to his shift at Dairy Queen.
Work for Dairy Queen.
Right.
Right? So I learned, like, no matter how hard you work, there's always going to be roadblocks, and then you have to adjust, right? So I quit Dairy Queen, went next door, Tim Hortons. Tim Hortons was a different experience. It was actually a really good experience.
Yeah.
They throw you into the fire. You apply, you're working like the next day. You might be the only person working, right? Because there's this crazy turnover. So you're learning how to deal with customers that are they're not really in the best mood sometimes.
That's how they get their coffee.
Yeah. Might have a migraine, trying to get their coffee.
Right.
You got to be nice no matter what. You learn how to, one day I remember the whole staff got fired except for me because you're not allowed to smoke.
Jeez, everyone's out there smoking.
The owner pulled up, saw them smoking, fired them all.
Jeez.
Then he just went through the resumes, started calling people to replace them while I was by myself. So I'm doing drive-through and the counter at the same time. It's impossible, right?
Crazy.
It's impossible. So
a ton of experience. And one of the things we talk about, especially from the entrepreneurial side, is with our youth and with Corvell's kids and everyone that kind of comes around us, we want to expose them to as much as possible, right? And I think a lot of, like you said, your skill sets that you see today comes from all that exposure, from the different businesses to the different work experience to the different sports. All those experiences kind of create the foundation for you today to take on anything and to thrive the way you do. So that's what's up. Kudos to your parents for sure. So okay, boom, you're in high school, and it's a story that you shared with us once. I think you were in an investing class. You were reading the investments in
grade 6.
Okay, grade 6. You're reading the newspaper investment, and your parents gave you some money to do some investments.
Yeah.
Tell us about that. This is the first time you started investing?
That's probably what changed my mind in everything. Actually, probably everyone in that class. Everyone in that class.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a teacher named Mr. Longard. I was going to Millwood Elementary.
Nice.
Grade 6 teacher, Mr. Longard. He also played basketball, so he was like, he'd play ball with us. And then like,
cool teacher.
Yeah, cool
You
guy.
have respect for him, yeah.
And so one of the exercises he would do once a week is everyone in the class picked a stock, and then we had to just follow it. So with our imaginary money, follow it. And so I think I just picked like some stock that like went to zero basically. But this other kid, Pat, he picked a stock that did like 100x.
Sick.
Wow.
You remember the stock?
Yeah. Infosys.
Okay.
Infosys. It was an Indian tech company that did, they would like replace workers.
Okay.
And you in
So
grade 6.
They were doing
6,
arbitrage.
and
This is grade 6.
And you remember
Oh,
the
yeah.
company.
Yeah.
See, that's
And-
how that shit
yeah.
hit. It hit
Yeah.
home.
And this
Oh,
man
I
picked
never
a 100x
forgot.
stock in grade 6.
He didn't care though.
Yeah.
He just picked a 100x stock, whatever.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Right?
I
He's a
won the
hockey player.
competition.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a hockey player. He won. And I'm like, whoa. And my mom is working at the bank at the time. So I'm like, Mom, I want to start investing.
Yeah.
And I had money from chores and all those other different side things we were doing. So I had money, so $500, and I put it into stocks. So back then, eBay's just popped off,
Yep.
and I'm using eBay.
Mm-hmm.
And then to pay, you use PayPal.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay, eBay, PayPal. When I'm playing video games, EA Sports, Electronic Arts. These are easy picks. Like even
And
today,
this
they're
is
still around today.
You're in grade
Yeah.
6.
Grade 6.
Yeah. And
Right?
so,
So we're
just
looking at
to go there,
29 years later.
People always ask me, what stocks do I invest in? I say, invest in the things you use.
Yeah.
Right? In that grade 6, you're looking at the things you use. eBay, EA Sports.
Yep.
What was the third one you said?
PayPal.
And you went and bought those stocks. Right?
And it was your boy Elon Musk
Mm-hmm.
running PayPal.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's
GOAT.
running Tesla.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So didn't know back then.
Yeah.
But I just knew this is what I use. This is what I'll do. Right? So that's grade 6. You had to call it in. So you'd call the bank. It's $45 a trade.
Wow.
Jesus
They gave you
Christ.
2 free trades a year. So the reason why I'm really good at research is because I wasn't going to pay any fees.
You had to
Right?
hit those 2 trades.
Yeah,
You
one
had
is
to
buy, one
win.
is sell.
Mhm.
Right.
That's all you got.
Oh, that's crazy.
So you got to
New world.
You got to pick the one best stock in the whole world for you that you can afford.
Yeah.
That's if it's $1,000, but you only got $500, you can't buy that stock.
Right.
So you're trying to find a $30 stock that you can spend $500 on, and you got one trade to buy, one trade to sell. So we'd be on the equivalent of Wall Street Bets or Reddit back then was called Yahoo Chat or Yahoo Forums.
Yeah.
Right? And so that's what we would go on Yahoo Forums. You're just reading all these rumors, different people talking from all over the world. That's how I'd pick stocks. So I thought I was a genius though back then, but it was actually the tech bubble, right? So the .com bubble. So everything I'm picking is going to it's going to the moon.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then one day my mom's like, no, you got to sell everything. Like this is not, it's not, just sell it, because she knows when to take a profit.
Right.
So my mom's like, no, you need to sell. So I was angry because it was like a joint account. Like
Yeah,
my child and parent, right?
You weren't 18 yet. You couldn't make your own decisions.
So I was like, what if it goes to $1 million or something like that, right? So I think it was like $500 turned into like 30,000
Jesus Christ.
from grade 6.
Sheesh.
Yeah, from grade 6 to like age 17, 18.
Yep.
Damn.
So
Crazy. Yeah.
500.
but I was
30,000.
From
never deposited
from
again.
grade 6,
Right.
which in grade 6 you're about 12.
Yeah.
12 to you're 18. You made from a $500 investment to $30,000, and that's how Sam GSK, the investment guru, came to life. Okay.
I'm thinking I'm a genius.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is what I'm going to be doing
Yeah.
for the rest of my life.
Well, I would
right?
think so too, for sure.
And so a year later, the market crashes. Like people lose their shirts. Amazon went from $96 to $6.
Wow.
So like negative 95%. I didn't lose anything though because my mom had.
Your mom pulled the
So
trigger.
mom
Shout out
knew
to mom,
best.
man.
Yeah.
Mom knows best, even in
So
investments.
then I was like, oh man, like I guess I was just lucky, right?
Right,
Or
right,
maybe it was
right.
just good timing,
Humbling.
like, whatever, right? But I never. So you can actually see the pain of everyone around you, but not feel it, which was,
tough place to be, but oh well.
So I think if I would have felt it, I wouldn't have never invested again.
Right.
Or at least, never invested for like 10 years or something like that, right?
That's why you always tell us take profit. Take something off top. You know what I mean?
That's his philosophy.
Just pull your investment.
Yeah.
Right?
I always say that, even if it's too early.
Yeah.
I'll always say that.
Pull that.
Right?
So you had the 30.
Yeah.
And I think from there, then you go into real estate.
Goes into real estate.
And that's
the
18.
Family. Yeah, so our family business, real estate, we do everything. So our family, we do everything together, right? And so now we're in real estate. We're buying houses in Sackville. They're like, 5-bedroom houses. Usually there's 2 entrances, so you can split it into 2 units, rent the top out, rent the bottom out. The bottom person's going to pay for the whole mortgage. The top person is all profit.
Yeah.
And then over time, you refinance it, buy another one. So we're doing this. And then it goes into multifamily. So buying an apartment in Truro, it's the exact same thing. So you're buying something that looks terrible. I remember one of the places that smelled like dead bodies or something like that. Like it smelled so bad, but that's when you're going to make money because nobody wants those properties. Everyone wants to see granite countertops and marble floors right off the bat. They don't want to see musty carpets and crazy walls. So that's still to this day is what I do, right? I always buy something that nobody wants. Right? Then I turn into something that everybody wants.
Sick. And that's where all the money's at in the middle.
That's where you make the profit, right? So then so my parents' philosophy and my philosophy was a little bit different because so I joined the military, right? So I joined the military in the reserves at age 17. So now my time is a little bit limited because, there's certain periods of time where I'm going to be gone for the whole summer, for example, for training. So my parents' philosophy, they had a very hands-on business. So when I started investing like in real estate, I was like, I need to have the opposite. I need to have a very hands-off business. Yeah. So buy the property, fix it up, give it to a property manager or have them manage it, depending on where it was. Now, when they were buying, prices had probably quadrupled from when they were buying to the time that I had the money to buy. So I'm looking at prices. I'm like, you were buying these houses for $70,000. And now they're $270. So I can't buy 10 houses.
Right? Different game.
So the States has crashed. This is like 2011, 2012. So the States had crashed 80%. So me and a friend were like, why don't we go and look at houses in Florida? Or California or whatever. So we start looking at houses in Florida. They're $2,000 at the time.
$2,000
$2,000 you could buy a condo. The problem with condos is if the condo development goes bankrupt and there's like 5 guys that got money, they're going to try and sue those 5 guys and try to get the money to like fix up everyone else's condo. So we didn't buy any condos in Florida. And also in Florida, they have hurricanes, so the insurance is crazy. Like your insurance is like $5,000 a year, so that's 5 months rent. It's just insurance.
Sure is.
Then you have maintenance. That's 2 months. So the numbers didn't make sense. Now in Atlanta, when I find Atlanta, Georgia, houses are a little bit more. They're about $40,000. But here, people are buying an F-150.
Right. Yeah,
for
40,000
easy more, right?
And this is in 2008, 2009, right after the crash.
So the crash is in 8-9, but I started buying in 2011, 2012.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember we would be talking all the time. You'd be like, yo.
Yeah.
Send me prices, be like $9,000. Like, what's this guy saying? What is this, like a rental or some shit? Like, yeah.
Crazy prices.
Yeah.
And so, so at that point, I go to my parents. I'm like, we've been doing real estate. I didn't have money for that because like I was traveling a lot. I was living the life.
Being a young boy.
Yeah.
DJ
Exactly.
GSK. We'll ask you about that as well.
Right. DJing, traveling, nice hotels, right? Living the life. So I didn't have savings. And so I had about $2,000, I think. And I was like, Mom, Dad, like, this is exactly what we've been doing. Houses are way cheaper in the States, right? But they were like, no, you got to have a house that you got to be able to touch it. You got to be able to pull up, see what they're doing,
see what's happening,
right? And I was like, but I can't because they're too expensive.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have that like a lot of people are like now.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same situation,
Mhm.
right? So I found an investor. The house was $42,000. An investor gave me $47,000. And then when I brought it across the border to the States, the Canadian dollar was actually higher at the time. So made maybe $3,000 or $4,000. Bought the house cash, fixed it up on like credit card and like, whatever. And then sold it for, I think, $130,000 in about 8 months.
So, I kind of know a little bit more, but you ain't just fix it up and sell it. You would, fix the house up, get it rented, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you would sell it to other investors.
Yeah, so that actually happened by mistake. So I was watching Flip This House, and I would watch every single episode. I had a notepad, and I would just see what they were renovating things for. So it would show front yard $900. I'd write that down.
Yeah.
Electricity $2,800. I'd write that down. So now I knew what the price of everything was in the States, because it's completely different than the prices in Canada. You can build a shed for like $2,000 at that time. Where here, the shed's like $20,000-$30,000,
right?
Because they have cheaper labor. Like they have a lot of,
they
have more immigration. They have a lot of cheaper labor.
Yeah.
So I write down all these things, and then what happens is renovate the house.
Right.
There's insurance on the house. What happens is while we're waiting for it to sell, someone breaks in.
Yeah.
Takes everything.
I remember you used to tell me that shit all the time.
And this in Atlanta?
You used to have German shepherds and shit, like the dogs.
So there was a
and
guy
stuff.
who started a business just to put dogs in these houses, like big dogs, and alarms. So what happened was we had a really good real estate agent, Kalia Lang. So she's still in Atlanta. So anyone in ATL, shout out to Kalia.
Pause real quick. So, like, I remember when Jeezy's like, I own half Atlanta. It was funny because when he said that shit, I thought about you.
Yeah.
I'm like, you don't own half Atlanta.
Exactly.
This man owns half Atlanta.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
So, it's Atlanta was, no one really cared about Atlanta at that time. New York is still the place to be.
Yeah.
Right? New York is still the place to be. Philly. And Atlanta now is like the place for everyone. Everyone's leaving Atlanta, or leaving New York to come.
All
to
the rappers
Atlanta,
live in Atlanta. Yeah,
and,
Atlanta's a destination.
Yeah, like back then it's just like Jeezy and T.I.
So that's like crazy to think. Like you're in Canada, you're however old, but you're owning houses in Atlanta. You still own houses in the States today.
I sold them all.
You sold them all?
Yeah.
Okay, but at that time, what was that like? What was that challenge like? What was it like? Contact, and you weren't, like you said, you weren't living there.
Yeah.
You didn't touch it, but you had a lot of people on the grounds there helping you and connecting there, right?
So you had to build a team. So I think, like when I was talking about all the hard work and things like that, I just never give up. So it was really hard to buy a house. So to get the first investor, I think we did the pitch 30 times. And it would be someone, they got the money, they're like, good idea, I don't know, maybe later. Right? Good idea, I'm not sure. 30th guy was like, don't even say anything else. We're good to go. Cut the check right now.
Let's go.
Right. So if you gave up on number 3, you gave up on number 7, you gave up on number 12, you're never getting this house. Right. Because you can't get a mortgage in the States, because what happened was in the crash, all the Canadians that owned real estate, they just said, well, I'm out. I'm not paying. And you can't do nothing because I'm in Canada. You can't sue me across the border.
Right.
So the American banks hated Canadians for that.
Yeah.
Right. So when I went, they were like, we don't do mortgages to Canadians.
So you had to find an American.
No, you
had to
pay
pay cash.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Had to pay cash.
Yeah.
So bought 5 houses cash.
5 houses cash.
In
And
Atlanta.
again, for our listeners to think, a lot of time people think, well, I need $100,000 to start. You had $2,000. Your parents weren't giving you the money.
Yeah.
You couldn't afford houses in Canada, so you went to the States. You still couldn't afford the houses in the States. You found investors that could afford it. You pitched it 30 times to them. The 30th guy said, yeah. You went forward and were able to purchase these properties.
And the pitch was
other people's money.
You got the money. I got the knowledge.
That's right.
I'm going to do all the work, and then we're going to split the profits.
Sick.
That's the game.
Right. So we do that. Flip the first house. Boom. He's like, let's do it again. And then in Atlanta or in the States, when you do an offer, you have to show proof of funds. So the person that offered had a $50 million line of credit. It ends up he was like a hedge fund.
Yeah.
And it was one of their small companies.
Yeah.
So we had this $50 million line of credit to buy as many houses as possible, Blackstone. So I was like, well, then we can just do this as much as we want. Tell them that we got more.
Right.
Right. So anytime we'd just buy the house, call him, he'd buy it. Buy the house, call him, he'd buy it. By number 5, they're like, well, we should just cut them out. Maybe we should buy the house and renovate it. So it got harder to buy houses in Atlanta, right? Because now all of these banks, all of these hedge funds, and it was actually Warren Buffett went on TV. He went on CNBC and he said, if I had a way, I would scoop up as many single family homes as possible.
Yeah.
And at that point, I knew it was over. The heyday was over.
Yeah.
So
the world was
just to bring people in too, because like I remember like the conversations. You were doing this shit like when it wasn't even sexy. Like you know what I mean. Like I remember like you were in Atlanta like buying shit up when it was like everyone was out of Atlanta. Like so not to say you beating Buffett, but like at the time you were ahead of Buffett's statement.
I was 2 years ahead of him.
Yeah, you know what I mean, right? Like you were ahead of hedge funds and all that shit. Like you know what I'm saying. So
and that's a reoccurring theme with a lot of stuff, and we'll touch on some more as well that you do from crypto. Crypto 2016, 15, maybe even before, before the glamour. Real estate and those specific deals. And again, I think it's a testament to your research and to your exploring where, okay, shit, here's an opportunity here. Yeah. This doesn't look sexy. Dirty houses, single family houses, whatever, before the wave. So get into the wave before it happens.
What it's called is emerging market theory.
Yep.
So Dave Lindell is a real estate investor, and he wrote 5 or 6 books, and one of them is like how to make money in emerging markets. So when I talk about I have an eye for a business that I know if it's going to stay, it's the same thing as an emerging market. But the emerging markets, you can actually do this off data. So you can find the data of population growth. Yeah. You can find the data of like every city has a 30-year plan, and you can go to the city and say, what's your 30-year plan? Where are you putting the highways? Somewhere like Toronto, where are you putting the subways? Right? And then you can buy there. And then
before the subway get there.
Exactly. Because you're going to get it when no one wants to live there. So Atlanta, the reason why Atlanta, at that point, Atlanta was growing, I think, 30% in jobs, and they're growing 10% or more in people. Every day, 2,000 people were moving to Atlanta. Yeah. Because the taxes were too high in California. The taxes were too high in New York. Housing was too much. So I'm like, when I'm pitching to some people, they're saying, well, Atlanta's not that big. Yeah. And I'm like, well, Toronto does, 2.4 billion a year in like GDP, and Atlanta does 6. Right. So how come you would invest in Toronto, but you won't invest in Atlanta? Yeah. Why will you buy an $800,000 condo there, but you won't buy a $40,000 condo, 3,000 square foot house? Yeah. Right. So it's just like you got to change the way you're thinking. But for me, I had to go where the money was and where the deals were. And then so Atlanta drives up. We buy and sell 5 houses. We rent them out because we didn't want to get robbed. Right. So we put the renters in, and then we're selling them to the same guys because we're saying, well, it's rented, and now you can make, when you take the price, say when we bought it, we're making 25% on our money. Yeah. Because we paid really low. Yeah. When you jack the price up, the next guy that buys it might make 6% on his money. Right. 6% is amazing when there's no downside risk. Right. Because it's not even their money. Right. They're getting a mortgage. Yeah. Right. They're putting 20% down. So really there's no downside risk for them. So they're making 6%, but their cash on cash return with leverage might be 12%. Right. Which beats the market. The market's doing about 8% per year on average over the last 100 years. So that's all we did. Buy low, sell high. Yeah. Right. So,
simplify.
Yeah.
And you clean it all up for somebody that's looking for the sexy house with the renter and the investment property and all that shit, and then you turn around and sell to them, eliminate the downside risk. They go get the bank's money and do it. But you could see that before other people see that, right?
And so then I find another market. So the last market in the States is Huntsville, Alabama.
Yeah, I remember you talking Alabama. Right. That was like right around Trump.
Yeah, Trump time. It was before he got elected. So 2 years before he got elected. So Huntsville, Alabama is a 200,000 person town, which I kind of related to because this is like a 400,000 person city, right? So 200,000 person town. However, like one of the reasons why Halifax is always so strong is because we have a university town, but we also have the military and we have hospitals. Right. Right. So there's never going to be like a downturn in Halifax because those people will always be making money and always be spending.
Right.
Where if a place like, Sydney Mines, when the mine shut down, it just destroyed the whole economy.
Town.
So Huntsville, Alabama is called the Rocket City because they make rockets, like they make the actual rockets for NASA, Tesla. Boeing has their headquarters there. That's where they make the planes. So a lot of those guys, they're in this small town, 200,000. They're making $100,000 a year, but houses are 65,000.
Crazy.
So they can afford these houses, but the problem at the market at the time is banks don't fund anything under $100,000. So I come in, I buy a house for 65, I fix it up, I just
you make the value where the market exists.
Price it at 130.
Yeah.
Someone offers 120 like within a week.
Yeah. So it's funny, like just to kind of like show you too, like one of the things I admired about, your forward thinking was you started talking about Alabama when Trump was in the prelim, like when he won.
Oh, it was before he even.
I'm
existed,
saying
yeah.
it was like when he won the Republican seat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you almost were like, if he gets in, Alabama's gonna go crazy because you know what I mean.
So what happened was, I bought actually like way before that, and I didn't know he was actually gonna win.
Okay.
The only thing I cared about was population growth and job growth, and it was a high income city.
Right.
What happened was when Trump got elected, I had just sold my house. And he landed in Alabama, and he was like, "This is the Rocket City, and I'm going to bring jobs back."
Right.
Because they were losing jobs to China.
Okay.
So he brought a plant back, which was Toyota and Mazda. It was like a $3 billion plant that they put in Alabama. My house that was for sale skyrocketed $50,000 overnight.
Wow.
Because they were like, other like hedge funds were like, if Toyota's going to be there, we're going to put houses right by Toyota. So it was actually like, it wasn't luck, because the same way Warren Buffett came and said, I need to buy single family homes, was the same way Trump came to Alabama and said, I need to bring the jobs back. They're just following the data.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. He has some guy feeding him this data.
And that's the key piece, the data. One thing I was going to say, men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie, and you're a numbers guy. And then people might be watching, man, how does he know this stuff? And And how does he's too smart from
I'm not just throwing a rock and picking
exactly.
cities.
You go look, so you probably looked at every city.
Yeah,
right.
I did.
And you looked at the numbers, and he really did. And he took hours to look at all those cities, and he checked the numbers. Frig, these numbers are staggering.
Yeah.
Here's what's happening. Here's the GDP. Here's how much people are making a year. Here are the housing prices. There's opportunity. There's a gap.
Yeah.
Here's where I can come in. Everywhere else, it didn't make as much sense. But you've seen that data before Trump's guys seen the data, and you placed yourself there to win.
Yeah.
And and see
the
profit.
The whole thing about emerging market theory, you buy in the market, and CNN pumps your bag.
That's it. And you followed that formula to date. You sold your homes in the States, and now you have a lot of your real estate portfolio here in Canada. Just a question, public information. I follow you on Twitter. You tweeted that I think your assets cross $2.3 million. So you're a millionaire. We sitting here looking at a millionaire. What
baked
was
up
it?
shorty?
You know what I'm saying? What was the deal that got you across that $1 million mark? Do you remember?
It was just the real estate going up and crypto going up at the same time. So buying and holding properties, and then having those properties appreciate over time. So if you buy a property for $200,000, you hold it for 3, 4, 5, 6 years, it might go up 6% a year. But in the pandemic, houses were going up 100%. You couldn't predict that.
Right.
So one day it's like, oh, everything's up. Everything's up crazy. So that's it. So now it's just trying to protect what you have.
Yeah.
And we talk about
protection
a lot.
Trying to protect what you have.
Growth.
So asset protection, tax, like how to mitigate your taxes. How do you cash out paying the least amount of taxes that you can, or do you keep it and hold it? So that's the the game now. So now in crypto, what I'm doing in crypto right now is all cash flow based. I mostly buy crypto because there's a cash flow attached to it. Solana, when I staked Solana originally, it was 11% return. Now it's about 6% return. When I'm staking Hex, it's like 25 to 35% annual. So you can just put capital there and make 25 to 35% on it. And if it goes up in the same time, you're doing really well. Real estate, the trick is you buy the property, you fix it up. Instead of selling it now, because when I sold those properties, all of those properties that I sold have tripled in value since the time I sold them. So if I would just kept them and rented them out, I would have made way more.
Way more bread.
But at that time, I was using investors' money, and they don't have permanent capital. They want to get their money back.
Get it in, get it out.
Yeah, and get it out. Makes
so
sense.
you're on their time. So now that when I buy properties, I don't really use partners.
Fair enough.
So I just want to do it myself. That's why I like crypto. That's why I like stocks, because that way I have a 10-year time frame. Most people they'll say they have a 10-year time frame. 3 months later, they want their money back. They're getting married. They want to buy a house. They want to do whatever. So that's the best way to do things is you do what you have to do.
Yep.
So you do what you want to do later on.
Say that one more time. Make them understand that shit, man. Say it again, man.
So you do what you have to do.
Yeah.
So later on, you can do what you want to do.
Straight. So you got to
time.
do what you got to do.
So then you
can do what you want to do.
And we talk a lot about that and about that sacrifice. And I'm going to touch on a key piece there. And we're going to come to crypto and stocks. You got some gems there. But to put in perspective. So, we go back to 2011, 10 years ago, $2,000 in your account. 2021, 10 years later, over $2.2 million in assets, right? And this is how it was built. Other people's property, grinding, doing what I have to do so I can do what I want to do. And in a big part of that as well, that sacrifice piece, again, a millionaire. But I know you. You drive, what you driving these days? Maybe
Camry.
A Honda?
Camry.
What year?
09.
09.
Yeah.
09 Toyota Camry.
Love
right?
it.
Love it.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What's your philosophy there? When we think of millionaires and we think, especially in the black community, shit, guys get $10,000, they buying a watch, and we need Benzes, and I'd probably have a Lambo if I was you.
My first car was Infiniti G20T.
Okay.
You seen that car, the silver one?
Yeah.
Right. I guess I can say it now, but I beat every car on the highway with my car.
Flying around the roads.
I was flying.
Yeah.
Right. So I think I got out of my system early.
Yeah.
19. Like I said, that's the reason why I had $2,000 in my account was because I was fixing the brakes. The brakes were $4,000 to fix.
Yeah.
The shocks were $6,000 to fix. Every time I went to an inspection, they'd be like $4,000, $6,000.
Yeah.
Money just blown.
Yeah. Don't make sense.
So it's like, oh, do I want to buy a Range Rover? Well, no. Because I have friends with Range Rovers. They just spend all their time in the garage.
Yeah.
Right? And just getting milked. I remember at the Infiniti dealership, when you open the hood of my car, it said Nissan. The engine said Nissan.
Yeah.
When I went to Infiniti to get an oil change, they charged me $200 to change the oil. And I was like, and you look at the Nissan price, it's $34.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Right.
And they're like, well, Infiniti has more, blah, 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 blah. And I'm
whatever.
like, that's funny because the engine says Nissan on it.
It's like, what's that car? Lexus
and Toyota.
So a Toyota, a Lexus is a Toyota.
Yeah, it's
just
Toyota.
with the
Lexus exterior.
Yeah, exactly.
All the design, but the actual car, the moving parts is Toyota, right?
And so the windows, they didn't even change the branding, right? They just literally put the Infiniti sign on the steering wheel, the Infiniti sign on the front of the car, and everything else was Nissan parts.
Crazy,
right? So I think that's why I'm just not stunting, is because I already did that. So then I bought a Cadillac.
Yeah.
The big.
I remember the Cadillac.
The STS.
I remember the Cadillac.
I like that car too, but still, the shocks, like there's so many electronics on the Cadillac, so many things that go wrong. It's expensive, like those, the steel rims.
Yeah.
No, not steel.
Yeah, the
alloy.
Yeah,
the alloy rims.
Yeah.
Right, you hit a pothole, rim's gone.
Yeah.
Next day your tire's flat. Like I already.
Big ass tires.
Yeah. Back then I was buying like Gucci shirts, like 18, 19, 20. Like that's what you do.
Yeah.
And I think what a youngin does is you are, since you were a kid, you are sent all of these images from, Disney, from CBC, CNN, CNS. The only successful people have to have a plane,
right?
You know, a Lambo and whatever. And then what happens is most people spend their time trying to look successful.
Yep.
Instead of be successful, and they spend all of their money. And I fell for that. Like, they got me good.
Right.
They
get us all, man.
They got me good.
It's a hard try. I'm still trying to fight through it.
Yeah. And what you want to do is you want to buy nice things, buy shiny things to show everyone that you got it.
I'm doing it. I'm working hard, and I'm making it. I got status.
And most of those people you don't even hang out with. You don't even talk to them.
Yeah, because the people that really know you, they be like, yo, you know what I mean? That's just don't mean nothing to me.
Yeah. And it's a good quote. It's like, people don't go broke buying things to impress people you don't even like. It's better words.
Yeah.
But it's basically like,
something like that. Yeah.
You know,
you're trying to impress people you don't even care about.
You don't even care, or they don't even really care about you.
Yeah, you don't like them, but you're trying to impress them. Because the people that you like and the people that like you, they don't care about that shit. Right?
It's true. No one really cares like what your shoes are.
So like, you know, like to a lot of the people, like, you know, there's a lot of reasons why we brought you on this show. You know, first of all, like Neville said earlier, you know, you act as a mentor to us. You know, we make a lot of money whenever we do shit with you, whenever we talk to you. You know, and I talk to you all the time about this shit too. Like, and I'll pump you. Like, anybody that follow me on Snapchat, like, I'm always pumping you. Like, you know, like, I ain't really that smart. Like, I just befriend smart people. You know what I mean? We go way back, so it ain't like no fake stuff. Like, I've been, since 15, 16?
Yeah.
I've been knowing you since I've been like 15, 16, you know, and we always will stay connected or whatever. But, you know, at the end of the day, like, I always, if we ain't talking a while, I'll catch up with you. And sometimes intentionally, you know, because, like, I'll be like, you know what, man, I got to stay connected to Sam, because Sam is basically going to lead me to the promised land. You know what I mean? Like, every time I rock with you, I always find some new bread. And so, you know, for people, like, the reason we brought you on the show, too, is, like, because here this guy is from Nova Scotia, you know, originally from an Africa family, but you from here. Like, you know, you rep Nova Scotia. And
pure Scotia.
you know, you're in and among, you're accessible. You're in and amongst the community, Black Nova Scotia community, but you got a wealth of knowledge. And not only that, you got, you know, you got some shit. Like, you know, so, like, I think it's important for people to understand, like, you know, there's people like you that are here that they can touch, that they can access, they can have a conversation with, you know. One of the things that I found really cool is we would talk about before, you would tell me how, like, man, like, so many people hit me up and ask me questions, and but they never do the stuff. You know what I mean?
Said, like, once, like, you know, people hit you up, you say, do this, go open a Questrade account. Yeah. And 10 of them don't do it. One of them does do it.
I would say, if I gave the same advice to 30 people, maybe 2 would do it.
Yeah.
Right. And so what that comes to, so one of the things that I didn't mention actually is when I started real estate and we did the first deal, when we sold the house for $130, the bank valued it at $90,000, and they told us to drop the price. And I started reaching out to other real estate investors. I actually reached out to fortune builders, the people on the TV show Flip This House. I emailed them like every week.
Yeah.
And one day I was at Boston Pizza. It was Fishbowl Fridays, and they called, right? And they were like, "Hey, do you want to join our coaching program?" And the coaching program was $30,000.
I remember that. Yeah.
Right. Didn't have it. So what did we do? We went to the bank. We got a line of credit.
Yeah.
$50,000 line of credit. Bought the coaching program, platinum. Didn't even know there was lower levels. He just told us platinum.
30,000.
Right. Yeah. There was actually
these guys are hungry. They'll buy.
There was a $9,000 one that we could have bought. Right. So we went to the bank, got a line of credit, bought it. Went in, started looking at how to change the appraisal price. Right. There's a guy. His name's Pat Precourt. He's done like, I think it was 300 short sales at the time, which is when it's like when someone's going through bankruptcy. So I'm like, Coach Pat, how do you do this? How do you do that? And he's like, well, these appraisers don't know what they're talking about. So what you have to do is influence them by showing them what kind of work you did. Show them what you did to the floors. Show them what you did. And then they upped the appraisal. So we made the money
like that.
We made the $30,000 back.
Made it there. And I would never think about that. Like, okay, appraiser, he's doing he's doing a bunch of them.
Yeah.
He might know one house, but yeah, you got to walk him through it. Here's what I did. Here's how much it cost. Here's this. Here's that. That alone could boost you. And it came from that. Seeking out that knowledge.
So now we have the knowledge.
Yeah.
Fortune builders the platinum program that we bought is unlimited. I can fly down there and get free training.
Sick.
I can fly down there, take my employee, and get free training. So like it was actually an invaluable amount, but you have to be willing to invest in yourself to do that. Most people wouldn't do that.
No.
Right.
For someone, people wouldn't spend $100 on a book.
Yeah.
We're talking $30,000 on training.
Yeah.
And you didn't have the money, and you had to get a line of credit to buy that.
Yeah.
Right?
So then when we flipped in the houses, it was paid for. Like first house, it was paid for.
Yeah.
So you got to invest in yourself.
Yeah. And that's huge. And I think, to tap back to Corvell's point, it's like, a guy like you exists. And whenever we got an idea, you're one of the first guys we come to sit down and chop it up in here. And when you tell us something, we act on it. And again, I go down the list of 10 X's that, from you just saying, buy this, we bought it, and it won. And, I see.
Remember when Shopify, they said it was a scam?
They said Shopify, and this was early days Shopify, when it was like, oh, no, don't do that.
Yeah.
Novell was sweating.
Yeah.
He's like, yo, you
I was
see
like,
what
Sam,
they
what's
say?
up, man? What's happening with this? Sam
like,
said, no, it was it called? FUD. Don't worry about it. Keep going. Hold on.
I said, buy more.
Literally. And I did.
Yeah.
And I think, to forgive you reference, I might have put about $500 into Shopify then, and now it's worth about $6 or $7 grand right from that time. And you're a guy that super open. And you got Sam GSK. You can check him out YouTube, all that. And one of the guys, young homies, Duffy.
Yeah.
Duffy said he'd been hounding at you a lot. That he I don't know how, somehow I might have told him to follow you on Twitter, and he'd been tapping in and getting a lot of. He's deep in the game right now, so shout out to Duffy.
I talk to him a couple times a week.
Yeah. No, that's what's up. That's what's up.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the point. Like, for me, it's really just exposing people to you. You know what I mean? Like I and not, hopefully people don't just start hounding you down when they see, hey, Sam, can I get $20? Right?
Yeah, don't do that.
Right? Yeah. He probably not going to give it to you because that's just not who he is. But he will give you, some information, and I'll
send you to Coinbase. Yeah, you can make $60.
Make more.
Exactly. You see what I'm saying? Exactly. Right? Like, here, you want money? Okay, well, here, just do some work. And so I think that's the part. Like, it's just really exposing people. Here, this guy is, he's a black millionaire, a young black millionaire, in Black Nova Scotia. So.
Right.
This is not fake.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this ain't fake. Like, a lot of my successes have been because of this man right here. A lot of your successes have become because of this man right here. And he's accessible. He exists. You don't got to go, across the country and down to the States and find all these, and no offense, but, like, Sam's a pretty chill kind of guy. Like, you probably watch this episode, and sometimes you kind of fall asleep. But at the end of the day, Sam is he's never changing.
Yeah.
You never changed since I've been knowing you, and you're always willing to give that information. You follow him on Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter. Like, the man is just pumping shit out there
info
all the time, right? So it's really important too to have access to people that are going to keep you, but it's not for games.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
it's here, and like you said, it's the part where sure, you want to give info to people that are going to act on it. Right? And you don't got to take every word as gold, but you got to be acting on something, because 95% of the time he done some super deep due diligence to tell you this.
Yeah, if I'm saying something in public, that's guaranteed.
I've dug in it, like,
because I'm not. I'm not trying to ruin my record.
Exactly. Right? Straight. Yeah. And
I have things that I keep private that I do.
Yeah.
Right. But
the ones
if
that
it's
you
public,
publicizing,
it's
it's guaranteed.
Yeah.
We're gonna get a couple quick rapid fires of some of those, you want to call them calls or whatever, but we're just gonna throw a couple of things and hear what you think there. Stock market. What are some companies you believe in? What are your hot stocks right now? What's next for the stock market?
So the stock market is in a rough place right now because it's at all-time highs. So it's gonna go through a dip. So you have to go from momentum investing, where you just buy something that's hot and it gets hotter, to value investing, which is the same as what I'm talking about with the real estate.
Yeah.
So you actually have to buy stocks that might go down, but you keep buying them over and over again. So there's a stock that I like called Latch. Okay. So what they are, like Ring doorbell.
Yep.
So what Latch does
Shout out to Shaq.
He worked there?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
they're big companies.
No, sorry, Shaquille
O'Neal.
Not that Shaq. I think he invests like $1 million or something.
Shaq and Nos,
Yeah.
Okay, So what Latch does is they do the exact same thing, but for apartment buildings. So when you go to the apartment building and they got that, like, you know, the screen or whatever that you tap in. So Latch is actually owned by a real estate company that owns over 3 million, I think it's like 3 million square feet of commercial real estate and like 10,000 properties.
Right. Go to my
now,
Coinbase, not my,
the problem with
trade now. Latch.
Go for it right now. The problem with Latch right now is because they're a new company on the stock market, they're going to go down.
Right.
Which is good. It's an opportunity.
Sales, you talking about that shit all the time.
Right. It's an opportunity. So as it goes down, it's your chance to buy at the bottom at a really good price. And then once the market actually thinks it's good, which will be probably in 3-4 years, it'll be awesome. So I'll tell you why it's awesome. The revenue grows last year it grew at 99%, so almost 100% revenue growth. This year it's 50%. And what they do is their software as a service and hardware. Okay. So the same way that Apple puts a phone in your hand, but then they make you subscribe, they're making money in 2 ways.
Right.
Latch puts the machine and then the door and the lock, but then they charge the company $5 per door per month.
Right.
The company doesn't pay with their credit card; they pay 7 years up front in cash.
Jeez.
Wow. So they got money to go. They got money to go redevelop new products, pay for marketing, do all that shit.
And the company that's paying them is the same company that owns them.
Yeah. And then also, so you have an apartment building, that money, it'll probably be in your mortgage. So when you say security system and all the doors, you just add that into your mortgage. You pay Latch up front. So Latch is a software as a service company that's never lost a customer.
Sick. Good business model.
And they're growing.
Yeah.
So at some point,
where are they valued at right now? You know,
I think $8. Okay. So when they were a SPAC, they came out at $10.
Okay.
So when you're buying at $8, you're buying it below
what they
the value that they came out at. And so it's going to be the same thing. It's going to be some hedge fund guy, who whatever it is, Warren Buffett. So Chamath is in this company.
Okay.
So you already know you got a good guy. But it's going to be someone who's like, oh, Latch is the greatest software as a service company you ever seen. And it's like, well, yeah.
Yeah, you're just waiting for the rock stars to talk about it. Yeah.
Sense.
But the good thing about it is you have 3-4 years to accumulate. So if you don't have the money right now, you can just watch them, add them to your list.
Yeah.
Maybe in 5 months you're going to get a tax refund.
Yeah.
Right? Put some of it in there.
Yeah, you can do anything. Right? You can do $20 a month.
Yeah.
They're at $8. You
have
$8, $16, $24 a month, whatever it is. But buy some Latch. I'm gonna grab some.
That's what I like about them. So
Latch on.
Latch on. That me good marketing ploy.
It's the same thing with Shopify, right? At the time when I started talking about Shopify, it was $60. And people didn't really, you know, they were like, it's just an online or whatever.
Exactly.
And I'm like, no.
It's another WordPress or whatever.
Yeah.
Weebly.
Now it's what, $1,400?
Yeah.
Sure is.
But it took 3-4 years for it to do that, and a pandemic did that as well.
Yeah, so. I remember you were talking about Kim Kardashian and the sister them.
It was Kylie Jenner.
You were like, they're using Shopify.
Shopify.
Yo, Shopify is for real.
Yeah.
I remember that shit.
The $1 million a minute.
Yeah,
they sold.
They had like specialized.
Right? Yeah.
Shopify. So for all the ladies and stuff that have like, online boutiques, like if you got Shopify, guess who else is using Shopify?
Shopify is a place to go.
Tesla.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Kim Kardashian's makeup.
Yeah.
Or Kim Kardashian's fitness.
Yes.
Where Skims, right?
The Skims.
Kylie Jenner's makeup. Fashion Nova.
Pretty
Tesla.
Little Thing. Pretty Little Things on there too.
Yeah, Pretty Little Thing.
Smooth Meal Prep.
Meal Prep.
On Shopify.
Yeah.
And I swear by it. Like, it's easiest to use. It's built for e-commerce. I don't need, developers. I can go in and move things around, get all my data, my reports. I'm still long Shopify. I don't think I'll ever sell Shopify.
They're amazing.
Yeah, they're shit. Okay, next rapid fire, we got crypto. What do you think about the crypto spaces? What are the coins you believe in right now?
The ones on my Facebook or my IG.
Solana,
Hex, and Helium. I'll tell you why. So Helium is a decentralized network. So cell phones, you're going to be able to own a piece of a cell phone company. You're going to be able to own a piece of a Wi-Fi company. I've been mining Helium since February, right? So Helium's a solid company, and Dish Network 2 days ago just announced that they are going to launch like 2 million Helium hotspots.
Really?
And make a cell phone service in America. So imagine Verizon being competed with Helium. So I think it's going to go up. Solana, the reason why Solana is doing so well, the management. So Sam Bankman-Fried is an amazing entrepreneur.
Yep.
He's, I think from 2017 till now, he made $20 billion just doing crypto. But Solana is scaling
at a rapid rate.
You can send right now on Ethereum, which is the most popular blockchain other than Bitcoin. If I was to send you $10 in Ethereum, it might cost me $20 in gas fees. It shouldn't cost
Big
that.
problem.
If I send you $20 on the Solana network, it costs 0.00004 of a cent.
Yeah.
So eventually people are going to realize the same way that I wasn't trying to make the $45 stock trade when I was a kid,
right,
and I had to use the 2 free trades, people are going to leave Ethereum and go to Solana. Right. So an NFT, to buy an NFT, it's what, $400?
Crazy.
On Solana, it's free almost.
It's 0.001.
Yeah.
Every NFT I have is on Solana, and that's a big reason why I believe in Solana. Yeah. Apart from what you, as well as NFTs, it's through the roof, and a lot of good projects are going on the Solana network. And right now, like you said, for Ethereum, you buy an NFT on Ethereum, $400. You buy it on Solana, less than a penny.
Yeah.
Right. Solana.
High speed blockchain, amazing team. I mean, their blockchain did fail.
Yeah.
That was concerning to me.
Yeah.
I never sold. It went from $200 to like $120.
Yeah.
Never sold.
Yeah.
Bought more. It's back up to 200.
Yeah.
Sure is.
Right.
All-time high the other day.
Yeah. So that is concerning. That it just failed. That's very concerning.
I mean, if you know, without failure, how do you really grow? You know, if you don't go through some shit, I think you gotta go through some shit to get to it. You know what I mean? So I think,
but no one lost their money.
Yeah, that was a big thing. I remember, like, you know, the network was shut down for 12 hours. All right, cool. But like when it came back on, the money was still there.
Facebook was down for 6 hours.
Bell,
Twitter,
Eastlink,
all of them. Niggas go down.
Rogers, shit go down. You know, sometimes you wake
day.
up. People, I know people that have been like called Rogers, like the days when them phones go down.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I want my $4.99 back. Like, you just sat online for like 2 hours for $4, man.
Crazy.
For 1 day of downtime.
Yeah.
Right. So, you know.
Yeah.
Solana and then Hex.
And then
so
Hex.
The reason why I like Hex is just it's a decentralized way to earn interest.
And quickly, if you can give us a quick synopsis of DeFi and staking. So back in the day when, say, let's talk about like 60s, 70s, 80s. Back in the day, the way that most people made money was they would work, they would save, they would invest in treasury bills, for example, which is like, or government bonds. These government bonds would pay you 15% interest. Compound interest is an amazing thing. So if you're getting 15% interest over 30 years on your money, you're going to have a lot of money when you go to retire. Now when you put your money in the bank, you make 0.05%. The bank takes all of the money and they pay it to themselves in dividends, stock buybacks, salaries. You have CEOs of banks making $100 million a year instead of making $5 million a year and giving the money to the people. And that's acceptable. But in my opinion, that's not acceptable, right? So I want to go and I want to take my money and I want to put it where I can earn yield. So what DeFi did was they found a way to cut the middleman out. So by cutting the middleman out and replacing it with a computer code, you get rid of, now, any city you ever been to, what are the tallest towers in the city? The banks
and insurance companies.
We said that twice on this pod, and that comes from you.
They got 60 stories of employees paying $80,000 plus a year just to account for your money. But you could just click and have it automatically do that. Get rid of all these employees. So by cutting out the middleman, you create that profit for yourself. So if you had a US dollar, or let's say $100 US, and you were on Coinbase, which is a very simple, it's not even DeFi. Actually, you can't even do it on Coinbase because the SEC shut them down. But if you did it on Nexo, for example, which is centralized, you get 8% on your money. So just taking your cash from one account and putting it to another account, you get 8% on your money. That's with no crypto experience whatsoever, just US dollars. So if you go into more risky things and harder things, you can get 35% on your money, or like some places 100% on your money, but it doesn't last that long. So all DeFi did was take processes that we have in real life and took the robbers out of the middle.
Decentralized finance.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So DeFi is amazing.
Okay. And I got a couple more quick rapid fires. We're closing in around hour something. So I got you on crypto stocks. I lost one, but okay. Africa. You talk about Africa a lot. You're from Africa.
Yeah.
I've been paying attention to Africa, and I actually heard a podcast today about Nigeria. So a couple quick facts. Huge tech. It's actually I think 200 million people.
Yeah.
In Nigeria, it's
Yeah.
it's the seventh most populated country in the world. The richest black person in the world is in Africa, and the market is emerging huge. What's happening in Africa? Where are the opportunities in Africa? What does that look like?
So Africa has over 1 billion people, right? There's 54 countries.
Mm-hmm.
So, you have, in each region, you have different things. So, for example, Nigeria is very rich because they have, one of their resources is oil, and it was very easy to extract.
Yeah.
And they have stability, right? They have a lot of people. So I think in any city you ever go to, you're always going to meet, a Nigerian person there.
Right? You do.
And they're engineers, they're accountants, they're doctors, a lot of doctors. They value education, very proud. And so the cool thing about Africa is everywhere you go, there's different traits. So Uganda, for example, it's like 80% of their revenue comes from farming.
Okay.
So your food source is huge. Like we're going to have a food shortage soon because of supply chain issues, right? Now, it might not affect Nova Scotia, but it's going to be somewhere. And so then you go to South Africa. South Africa is a little bit different because it was run by, the British, right? So South Africa is a lot different. But the main thing in Africa is what you have. You have a lot of people. You have cheap labor because the cost of living is really cheap because most people live off the land or they're self-sufficient. So you have solar panels for your house. You're not paying a utility company as much. You can grow your own food, so you're self-sufficient. You build your own house, and you're building like huge mansions, right? So the labor can be a little bit lower. So for example, the cost of labor in Uganda can be like $2 to $10 a day US. So if you're manufacturing things and you can pay well, you can actually afford to pay triple the going rate, quadruple the going rate, and still do really well. So a lot of opportunity. Just taking a Canadian and going to Africa is just learning from the infrastructure that we have here that's not there. It's kind of like, because they have everything.
Yeah.
They do have everything.
Yeah.
But the systems aren't spread out for everybody. So there's a huge disparity between the rich and the poor, and there's no middle class. So the opportunity is to bring services to the middle class. So crypto is doing that by doing banking, but like mobile money, where people are banking on their phone. So imagine going from, like we went from, there was a typewriter era, then there was like sending letters and home phones, and we had AOL internet, and then we had Hotmail, and then we had Gmail, and then we had Facebook and all these other things, where most people there went from like no power to like a cell phone.
Big, huge
There was
jump.
no desktop.
Yeah.
There was no laptop. It was like, boom. So actually, they're actually more advanced.
Yeah.
Because they're doing everything mobile.
Yeah.
Where here, most people were like on websites, they'd say like desktop first. Now everyone's like, oh, we're going mobile first. Over there, everything's mobile.
Everything's already mobile.
You can pay.
Yeah.
You can pay for your clothes with your phone, and you can actually send data. I can text Valley a gig of data.
And so that was one thing I heard on the podcast as well, is like, so things like, it's a different world. So understanding, so like the data, it's like our phones where, we got 20 gigs of data on our phone, but for them, their internet packages are, well, this was in Nigeria at least.
Choose.
Exactly. So like I can't just go on the internet watching Netflix. I got to pick and choose the data I'm using.
Do I want minutes? Do I want data? Do
Exactly.
I want text? Do I want voicemail?
Exactly. And you told us that was a cool thing, like where I could send you a gig of data through an app.
I might pay you.
Yeah.
Right? For services using a gig
Using
of data.
data.
Like, yo, I want to watch some Netflix. Send me. Okay. I got you. Right? So that's the opportunity there is huge. I think exporting. So making goods there and then exporting it to Canada, U.S., building businesses locally because the population is there. So, you'll go to the village in Uganda is 800,000 people.
Right.
that's like one of the biggest cities in Canada,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Nova Scotia just barely over that.
all of Nova Scotia is 1 million, right?
Yeah.
And this is a small, tiny village that like people don't like going to because it's so small. And they're like, it's only 800,000
people.
right? So then
Huge
you got
population.
the city's 5 million, 10 million. So there's tons of people, very nice people, and they want the exact same things as we have
Everyone
here.
else makes sense.
And
it's
we need
not there
someone who
yet.
can provide it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why you have Dangote is the richest African. He just has a cement company,
Mm-hmm.
and then he has other telecommunications and like hundreds of other companies, but it's basic things,
Mm-hmm.
just cement to build houses.
Yeah.
That's a very simple
Providing
business,
these services
right? We're
to
here. Everyone wants to start the next Uber. of
Yeah.
whatever,
Yeah.
Right? You don't have to do that there.
Yeah.
You could just build houses at great quality.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a lot of opportunity.
Gotta make a
Gotta
trip
go.
to Africa. Definitely.
Got to go.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, a ton of value, a ton of game in this time. Appreciate you for coming on.
Thank you.
Corval, I don't know if you got anything else, but man, a real pleasure. We always appreciate you, and yeah, just happy to have you on, man, for sure.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it was more for me, even here, I just learned a lot of shit just talking to you. But I think it's just giving people the access, that was more one of the main things, highlighting, a young, black, successful entrepreneur, you know what I mean? Like a lot of our listeners, a lot of different people, they range from all kind of different stuff. And I think there's so many ways to skin a cat. And that's one of the biggest, value points for me is like, I seen you, I knew you when you had 2,000, you know what I mean? Right.
Yeah.
And so like to watch that journey, like up close and personal, was a pleasure. And so I always feel like, I try to introduce as much people as possible to Sam, because I know even at a distance,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to get some information and some knowledge that's going to help you build, your foundation for your success. So, if nothing else, to the people that were listening, this probably might be, it's a lot of information to take in,
Mm-hmm.
but, listen to it in sections.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Run it back.
Right?
We talk about this section.
Yeah.
Okay, boom.
Right?
Run it back. Listen to this section.
Exactly.
But from start to finish, ton of value.
Yeah.
Right? Coming from
Yeah.
someone that has done it and built it.
Yeah,
And
and still doing it.
and still doing
You know
it.
what I mean?
Yeah.
I recommend people follow him on social media. The man be just dropping gems. You know what I mean? Like I see a lot of people who say that they really giving the game.
Yeah.
With no strings attached.
Mm-hmm.
And you probably one of the like very few people that really give the game with no strings attached. Like, and it's some real shit.
Yeah.
The man said Hex is going to 50 cents in September.
Yeah.
And this was like July.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sitting there one day, I'm like, shit. So I bought.
Yeah.
You
No,
know what I mean?
he went
Right?
all in.
I took all of the shit that I had. I'm like, if this man told me
And
to
he
do
called me one day. He's like, "Yeah, man, I just put everything in Hex."
it,
We're
right?
saying everything. We're not saying like 10 grand. We talking
Yeah.
like 100.
I put it all in.
I'm like,
and
but then once he said, "Yeah," Sam said Hex going to 50. I said, okay.
And it's crazy because like I called him and I'm like, yo, I did this. And the man kind of like, he's tripping, not tripping, but like and he ain't excited.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then I'm like, yeah, like, no, Sam told me. He's like, all right, okay, cool. You know what I
It's
mean?
good
And
to
so
go.
like, this is really how the world is working for me.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm out here doing what I'm doing. But like, when I accumulate money, I want to put it in places that, are going to be foolproof essentially and are going to help me build my shit. And so majority of the time, like 85-90% of the time, I'm really just doing what Sam tell me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And sometimes he don't even call me. I can call him up, but like a lot of times it ain't even always direct, and it works.
Mm-hmm.
And so like for people, and I'll say this, back in those times when you had the $2,000, back in those times in 2011 and all that shit, when you first started doing the States thing, this man would hit me up all the time 'cause I was getting money.
Mhm.
It's like, yo, Veli, like,
Let's
you
do
know what I
this.
mean? And so many times I would look at these deals and I would kind of be like,
I ain't trying
you
to
know what I
do
mean?
that.
I ain't trying to mess with that. You know what I'm saying? And so what I had to learn, what I realized is that like when I started really seeing like, yo, this guy really know what he's talking about. You know what I mean? Like, and I really started to pay attention. So then I believed in you. I started to really make some money. But at the time I didn't.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like real shit. Like I'm like, man, Sam, man, like, frig, you
Sam,
want me to
you
put
know,
my
all
money
kind
down
of
in
crazy
Atlanta?
stuff.
I can't cross the border.
Yeah.
What if something goes south? I can't go get my money. You know what I mean? And so, you know, I think that's why I just want people to know you. You know what I mean? Like, pay attention. You know what I'm saying? This man gonna lead you to the right place. And at the end of the day, he gonna just put you in a position. You got to go do the work.
That's it.
You got to go do the work.
Execute it.
You know what I mean? You got to execute. You got to have the discipline.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, when you start flipping them bags, to not take that shit and just go spend it. You know what I mean? So, like, I think in all, like, this is just a part of the package for people to just be able to have that information. You know what I'm saying?
To be exposed to someone like that who like you said, is at that level. And, you know, quickly for me, the part that okay, when he says it, I go because I seen the work that comes behind it.
Yeah.
Right? It's not just blind. It's not just he read something today and this is the new thing. It's like, no, he read it. Okay. I'm taking a deep dive. Matter of fact, before he even read it, this guy looks at financial companies' financial sheets for fun.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I build them.
Yeah, right?
I build them. I track.
Exactly.
I predict what a company's going to make.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm on it.
Exactly. Right. He knows the game. It's years and years of information and studying and reading and research to you know be where he's at. So, and even for anyone that you yourself, right? If you're someone who, for me, I'm not a researcher. I can't deep dive into things like that. I have my skill sets, and that's why I rely on a guy like that to be like, okay, here's something I dug into. Okay, here, let's go. But end of the day, again, ultimately, man, a guy you want to tap in with. A guy you want to, you know, holler at if you someone that got some questions. Like I said, if you serious, he'll take some time with you. But much love, brother.
It's two people in the black community in Nova Scotia, in the young black community in Nova Scotia, I think are undervalued, and you're one of them. Mm-hmm. The other one's Ross Simmons.
Oh yeah, 1,000%.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just two people that, like, when I look at like my life and what inspired me, those two people I think, you know, you should tap into because they like world class people. You know what I mean? But like here in Nova Scotia, as a black community, we don't tap in enough. So, you know, that's my free game to you. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Another day,
the main thing
another dollar.
Your mindset.
Yes.
You gotta train your mind.
Yes.
To take that information in and believe it and believe in yourself.
Yeah.
So
that's it, man.
Shout out Sam, man. Much love. Like always, like, subscribe, comment on YouTube. If you listen to us on audio form, follow up. You can get us anywhere you get your podcasts. But that's it, man. Let's keep getting to the bag.
That's it.
Boom.
Cool.